like,
what's up, guys? What is going on, everybody? Kyle Williams here with our favorite Clovers, Huddy, Jack. Flavored? I said favorite. Cherry, vanilla, and chocolate. What is going on, everybody? Kyle Williams here with Huddy, Jack, and Dom. We just want to share that we have a boot camp coming up. This will be our third boot camp in the beautiful, lovely city that never sleeps, New York City, March 2nd through 4th, along with the VIP that's
join us in New York City from March 2nd through the 4th. That's a Saturday through a Monday where you will hear presentations from all the Clovers plus special guests on Saturday and Sunday, and then a half day of live trading on the Monday. We will also have a special VIP dinner on Monday night on the 4th with an added day of live trading on the 5th if you do choose the VIP package.
This event is all access to us for the Clovers. You're gonna learn every little bit about our trading styles, from fundamentals to technicals. Definitely give it a shot if you're really serious about trading.
We have a very special guest this time with Nate returning, as well as Steven Dux, one of the top traders in the small cap industry, will be there. So I'm really looking forward to it. So hope to see you guys there.
It's like,
what's up?
Nope. Hello, good morning. Welcome in to another episode of Good Morning NASDAQ. I am your host, Mr. Dom Master Mateo, joined by Mr. Michael Hudson, the Huddinator, as those around town are calling him. How are we doing this morning?
We're doing well.
Feeling good?
This weekend.
Feeling good after that Lions win?
I don't know about that, but I am proud of the Lions. Good for them.
Did you see that, if you watched the game, there was like some guy there who was like 66 years season ticket holder. It's like, I was crazy to me. Like, they have not won a playoff game in my lifetime. Like, that's just wild. And I'm not young.
I'll tell you what, the Cowboys are right there with you.
Yeah. Well, they won like the whole thing in the 90s, didn't they?
Yeah, but that was the last time, 91, and it's been 30 years.
Sad. But good morning, welcome in. Thank you guys for joining us after that long weekend. I hope you had a good time. It seemed like if you weren't on the West Coast, you got hit with some sort of snow, some sort of cold, some sort of windstorm, whatever it was. Kind of kept you in the house all weekend watching football, hanging out with friends, whatever it is. Hope you were able to get some studying done as well. Right here on Good Morning NASDAQ, we're live Monday through Friday whenever the market's open, Wednesdays as well for Wine Wednesday at night. And we just like to go over the pre-market movers, the gappers, talk a little bit about dilution, the fundamentals of the movers of the day, talk about the daily chart, see if there's anything relevant in terms of support, resistance, or volume that would have us looking one way or another. But at the end of the day, we're not really here to make trade plans. We're here to walk you through the process and what it looks like to keep up with and adapting to the current market and the biggest gappers of the day. If you haven't already, make sure that you are subscribed right here to the Clover Trading YouTube channel. We are in the process of hopefully doing a giveaway. If you guys can get the number up to 4,000 subscribers, been on the road to 4K for a while, we'd happily give away a free boot camp ticket at a Wine Wednesday in the future. You guys watch the promo. Boot camp coming up first weekend in March. Tickets live on the site right now. Special guest Steven Dux, Nate Mishad, laptop legend David Hanlon. Coming fast, but going to be a whole lot of fun as well. Make sure you guys have hit that like button, hit the thumbs up, and we will get going right here. Got a couple gappers to talk about, answer a question or two, get this thing wrapped up by 9:15. And head on over to the Clover trading room. You ready to get after it, Mr. Hudson?
We're getting after it as you speak.
He's getting after it. What are you getting after? Let's talk.
We're going over one of the bigger gappers of the day. Just came up on the scan, so just started doing the research right now.
Talk me through it. Talk me through it.
The LAB. We have E-Labs, Elevai Labs. They are a stem cell producer, manufacturer, distributor, some sort of stem cell, that's their PR. That's as far as I've gotten so far.
It's a pretty interesting little buzzword. Don't see a lot of that. Proprietary stem cell manufacturing technology. They're also not like a biotech. They're like a health and wellness or something. Anything in that PR that tickles our fancy? Nothing too specific. Nothing too specific. But this is a recent IPO. Once we get to the daily chart, we'll talk about that. So there's not a lot going on in the filings. If you are digging deeper and diving in deeper to those IPO filings, let me know if you found anything. But this is one of those where there's just not going to be a whole lot of information available because it's only been trading for a month and a half.
Correct.
Yeah, I have
But
the
they have
float.
stock.
I have the float at 1.5 mils. That sound accurate?
It disagrees with Yahoo Finance,
By how much?
5 million.
Okay.
Like I generally want to trust Dilution Tracker over Yahoo Finance because Dilution Tracker is a paid for service, right? And Yahoo Finance is not. So I feel like Dilution Tracker does more judicial work to have the accurate float, like work by hand type of idea. I hope that's what's going on.
Okay, so whatever it is, it's a low-ish float, either pretty low or kind of low. 7.8 months of cash left. Estimated cash of $2.2 million in the bank. The bank that did their IPO was Webull. Let's take a look at the chart here. So you can see here, started trading in late November, topped out in the 420s, pulled back as low as $1.50, and upon this morning's PR, which was really right before we went on, 8:30, the PR came out, straight up move right into that daily chart resistance at 425, topped out almost perfectly there. Already doing historical volume, again, not crazy in terms of the number. It's only done 2.5 million, but it is the most that it's ever done on the daily chart in a very short period of time so far on a lowish float right now. What are your initial thoughts here as you dive a little deeper, Huddy?
From the chart perspective, right? Is that what you're going for?
Mm-hmm.
From the chart perspective, like this type of IPO chart, low float, definitely makes me cautious. You don't have a whole history of bag holders. You don't have a whole history of psychological, chart prints that can add to any kind of bias that you could create. So it's kind of in that wild, wild west area. And it really just depends on how, straightforward and strong this press release is about stem cells. If it catches wind, like it can spike because there's not a lot of bag holders. If it's PR filled with froth and it doesn't really catch wind, then what's going to happen is this chart's going to look like it's got some chart history by the end of the day with a bunch of bag holders. So we're kind of in the beginning stages of creating what will be the long-term daily chart. And that's always something that I'm kind of like 50-50 over. I don't really know what to do with it because of its, ambiguousness.
Are you saying we are witnessing history right now? So if you ever trade ELAB in the future, you'll remember this morning on what the resistance was, what it did in terms of gap behavior. It's all being set today.
Yeah, usually when you have that one of those charts where you have all this like big volume all of a sudden, and it hasn't really traded like that in the past, that specific day is going to be your key chart points made on big volume. And so, yeah, exactly what you said.
It's really exciting stuff. Yeah, I think you have one line on the chart that everyone's talking about or will be looking at. And it's not even like because of everything you just said, not the most relevant, but in terms of humans, we kind of need something to grab onto and create conviction. And I think your shorts are going to be saying 425, double top there already. We'll see if it can break that level in the next 36 minutes still left in pre-market. Or if that level becomes resistance, and then your bulls are probably thinking the same exact line because it's the only line on the chart that has any relevance. Are we going to base above 420, and maybe push higher on a lowish float, decent news, and fresh chart? Blue skies breakout. So kind of multiple ways to look at it. The big thing to note there in terms of where that line is, that's about 140, 150% up on the day at 420. To do with that information what you will. But that's your biggest gapper for the day, up in the 120%. I think that's the first 100% gapper we've had in like 3 or 4 days. So nice to see one on the list. I know Huddy is interested in it. Probably do some more due diligence. So if you want to head on over to Clover after we're done here, he'll probably be able to tell you exactly what he wants to do with it if he does, in fact, want to short it. Alrighty, next mover on the scooter, PHUN. A little oldie. It's 11 cents a share.
Yeah, so here's the general catalyst on PHUN and DWAC, and I think it's all moving because of the Iowa caucus that Trump had won. So you have, if you guys weren't around, back 2 years ago, DWAC is his Truth Social SPAC or DSPAC or whatever it is today. And it went from $10 to like 180 in 2 days when, I don't know, it was like registering as a SPAC back then or something, or like, I think Trump had gotten kicked off Twitter that week. And it went absolutely crazy because that's where he was moving. And so generally when you have these like, I don't know, social movements and political quandaries of sorts, DWAC fun, and what was the other one? Mark?
Mark was one, but that's kind of, I thought that was more AI.
These companies are going to change. 1 year they're going to be biotech, the next year they're going to be, crypto. Like that's kind of what happens with the small cap. I don't think it's Mark. It might have been Mark. Mark was somehow connected to them as well. Maybe it wasn't Mark. Yes, it was.
Yeah, but you pretty much had DWAC fun. Were we talking about 2019?
We're talking about October 2021.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, pretty crazy moves there. Set the tone for what that was. They kind of traded for a little while, but it looks like they've all faded back down to where they've came from. In PHUN, we talk whenever we bring up stocks in this price range, 10 to 20 cents. We're not all that interested in because this one's not connected. This one is connected to other things. I don't immediately think, okay, what was running last week? CRGE had a big move out of the 10 to 15 cent range, doubled in the morning. What was the other one? B-Cell low price stock that went for 2 days from 20 to the 40s. I don't really group PHUN necessarily in that just because it is going to move off of other things. Is there news today on these ones, or is it just hypothetical stuff to do with politics? That's probably what it is. So not too much interest there for me.
I mean, it can get interesting. Look, DWAC is a small percent gap up and hasn't really been all that volatile since that day in October. So I wouldn't be anything over the moon about fun. But, it has traded 100 million shares just here in the pre-market. If that volume keeps up, it might get interesting. It's probably not a world where, I'm probably in the boat with Dom. I'd probably take it off my screen personally once this is done. Because I don't really want to play it, but I can see a world where it stays on a chart for at least a day and you learn about it. If it's going to trade kind of crazy volume, you never know.
Will I root for it? I definitely will root for it. They're oldies, they're dilutive, they tend to get hit really hard when it's all said and done. I'd much rather them go on big moves.
I agree.
Next
I
one.
kind of expected coming into this week to see a couple more, maybe they'll still happen, cheapy stocks gapping up after we had CRGE and B-Cell last week. Multiple 100% gains out of two cheapy stocks. I thought, there's a world where some bullishness comes into the graveyard and gets some of these things going. Some Twitter pumpers probably all over these. And, so far in the past year, this price range has been my favorite for short selling. So I really hope one does get going. Actually to a price where I would short it.
Couple prayers out to the stock gods for some low price runners. All right, the next one on my list that is kind of barely meeting the threshold, but it's not even 9 yet, so we'll hit it real quick. RVSN. I think you've probably already done the DD here. Only up 44% now, got as high as 280. Let's take a look at the D tracker.
Yeah, this one bothered me.
1.8 million float for Rail Vision. They are a company that's seeking to revolutionize railway safety. That's something I think a lot about recently. They're from Israel. 6 days ago, they have secured 6 million credit facility. I don't see anything today. Do you see any news today?
I didn't see any, but I did see that credit facility was priced much higher relative to where the stock was. It just honestly is probably reverse split pumping up.
Mm-hmm. They just
I
recently.
don't think I have to do much research into that one.
Just recently got their minimum bid requirement null, whatever, not null and voided, but they got their compliance back. They got a little bit of cash left. Okay. Yeah, only up 45% on the day. Go back to the chart here. Decent volume already this morning. As I go back a year, I don't see any volume. When I go back 2 years from 2022, we do have a little run that topped out at $20. So that's pre-split, or $20 post-split, but probably a lot smaller pre-split. And that's pretty much the only volume on this entire chart. So a lot of this resistance, although people will probably attach meaning to it, doesn't really immediately make me go, oh, it should top out at 5 or 6 or wherever, because there just really isn't any volume. A lot of these days are, this is a $900 volume day, 6,000, 9,000, 4,000. So the fact that pre-market already we've done over 8 million, I think today is going to be more important. That is if it even survives. Right now it's kind of drifting all the way off, giving back its entire gap. So not really what you want to see. I don't think not a lot of longs want to see that. Any bulls going into the market open, stock breaking to new lows and fading, giving up that gap. And then the further down it goes, you get to 40, 35%, the less likely you have gap and crappers come in going, ooh, look at that 30 cents a share I can make down to red. So I think this is just going to get more and more uninteresting if it just keeps fading. Thoughts?
Yeah, this one I kind of did brief research for this morning. That isn't an American, it's a foreign listed company, has, you know, the quarterly reports and F. So those are always a little bit more annoying for me to really go through it. I don't necessarily like reading through those quarterly, so I didn't do it as much on this one, mainly because, you know, the gap isn't that impressive. So I didn't really think that it's really going to deserve my attention much more than the 5 minutes right now that we're talking about it. But yeah, they didn't have cash. A lot of their money was being spent on salary and business compensation, expenses, etc. It doesn't really look like the best way to handle their current, what said 8 million on their cash statement, but I don't think it's that number anymore. They also need to update it, right? Like that's the problem with like these foreign listed companies. It's not like a fresh, updated quarterly report. So I have to deal with like over 1 year or like 1 year old information, which also makes me, again, just not really care about this stock, but it doesn't look good. Whatever I did see, it didn't look good.
Oh no.
What's up now?
Oh, I hit something and
Okay.
it kind of bugged up my screen. You know when you hit one of those F keys at the top and you're just like, oh, what did I just do?
Yeah.
That's what I did. All right. Is that all the jappers today? I don't see anything else creeping up. It appears that ELAB going to be your main gapper. This is one with, 27 minutes to go to the open. When we wrap up here, I know that Huddy will spend most of his time probably researching this one, going to anything he might be missing. Generally speaking, you usually have a little more information out than a recent IPO, but that's kind of the goal with what we're doing, is to find where people's eyes are going to be. And because that's where the volume is going to be, that's where the liquidity is going to be, that's where the range is going to be, that's where the shorts are going to be, that's where the chasers are going to be, that's where the algos are going to be. And our job is to kind of find that out, not necessarily to look through every gapper up 5% to 50 and go, what maybe could run. Find the one that is going to be the hot stock of the day, because it's most likely going to be the hot stock of the day if it looks like the hot stock of the day. And make plans for it, make future plans on it. If you don't plan on trading day ones, like I know a lot of people don't, I don't really, rarely do, unless it really has a nice daily chart. But get some basic understanding of the stock, the news, the daily chart, support, resistance, all of that. That's what we're really looking to try to do on these. So if you have any questions, any tickers you guys want to talk about in further, we can get to those. Make sure you've hit that thumbs up button. When we wrap up here, we're going to head over to the Clover Trading Room. And if you want access to that and everything we have to offer in terms of watch list, trade alerts, video lessons, webinars, archived, boot camps and webinars from Huddy and Dom, all that good stuff, you can get in for $7 for 7 days. Link in the description. Check it out and you'll get access to everything 4Leaf has for 7 days. We do have a webinar today, so if you want to do that this morning to start the new week off, Me and Kyle, I believe, have a webinar at 11 a.m. You'd have access to that if you got in for the 7-day, $7 trial. Let's get that like up over 50, and I will go through some questions. Huddy, do you agree with Duck saying you should avoid shorting biotech stocks?
No. I don't think any rule is really written in ink. I think rules are kind of meant to be broken, but for the most part, followed by. Like I can't really say like there's a blanket rule that says I should not short all biotechs, like period. I mean, I would say that I would never try to short a biotech based off my understanding of the news. I don't want to look at the news and say, hey, I know what this is really worth, right? I don't want to apply fundamental relevance to biotech because I really don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't really know. But what I do understand is share structure and simple data points on what is and what is not supposed to happen preceding certain price action. And if a biotech sets up perfectly in the way that I understand it, I'm going to trade it. But again, making sure I'm not going out of my lane and saying, okay, this news is crap, so I'm going to short it because it's gapping up, and then all of a sudden the news turns out to be fantastic and I misread it. Like that's where I draw the line. I'm not a biotech expert. I'm not someone that's like looking for biotechs or not looking for biotechs. I'm just waiting for the right scenarios and setups to set up across all sectors. Yeah.
Yeah, I think within trading, too many people want to make blank statement type of approaches, take blank statement, whatever, that word approach to the market, you know, only long, only short, never big caps, never mid caps, never pumps, always breakouts, whatever it is. The way we trade, we certainly have our edges that we've built over years and years that we try to stick to. And, you know, but there is times we go outside of that for specific situations. And, you know, are biotech sketchy? Do they generally have lower floats? Are they also responsible for a lot of the big squeezes that we see in the market? But there's also ways to play everything safely, to take risk off the table, to manage risk better. And if, you know, the situation is good enough and fits our patterns and our criteria, we're more than willing to do stuff that we don't generally do on a day-to-day basis. You know, we don't trade big caps very often, but if Tesla goes from 100 to 500, you most likely will find us there for a first red day. It's very situational, and it's never just all black or all white. Hi, Dom. Thoughts on KITT long, holding its gains, but on very low volume? Yeah, I've seen this one.
Play.
Huh?
That's that robotic play.
Yeah, I've seen that. A lot of people on the Twitter sphere or the X sphere talking about robotics plays. I haven't quite dug in to quite understand what the forward-looking thing is or what the idea is there. But I have been told by people to have it on a watch list. Did do good volume on the day, you know, kind of bottom bounces off 30, goes up into the 60s. You know, is starting to hold up, kind of OTC-esque, cheaper stock. You know, the next breakout maybe pushes into the 80s, 90s, $1 area. One that I do have on watch, but nothing that I'm like dying to play right now or look at or get in early. As long as this base is kind of being built around 50 cents, I'll continue to keep it on watch and look for the day that it does break out. In terms of the rest of the daily chart, really not that much volume. I don't put too much stock into back here where the stock's trading. Again, 5, 10, 50 million, 50,000 shares a day. Really'd rather be there on the day this is trading 100, 200 million. There is decent range on this, but this is something I do want to look into this week because I have seen this going around about the robotics sector and it being one of the biggest movers of 2024. And just kind of seeing what that's all about before I just start trading random stocks that have been brought up to me by others. But if the volume's there, the daily chart's there, and the pattern's there, I definitely will be interested. All righty. That looks like...
Why there's no marijuana stocks capping up?
I saw that yesterday. I have MSOS, which is like the ETF, I think, that kind of shows the direction of cannabis. And I saw that was a big breakout today on the daily chart. And I wanted to know, I saw someone post in the Clover room over the weekend about Feds releasing on Friday some marijuana documents confirming Schedule 3 recommendation.
And then Unusual Whales followed that up on Twitter and said something about how like they did get the votes to like reschedule Like whatever that press release was in September is like being pushed through right now. And so I thought it happened over the weekend. I thought you'd see gaps, but the ticker you brought up is gapping. None of my weed watch list is gapping at all, which is, I don't know, it's not what I expected.
Yeah, and just to answer any questions that are going to come from that, even Wayne wrote it in the room. Learn to react, not predict. Sectors that I think might get hot, or if someone tells me robotics, or if I see news come out federally or globally on like marijuana, like I don't just immediately start buying everything that fits in that sector. I'm still just waiting for the patterns to develop like I always would. I'm just maybe having a closer eye on certain stocks and seeing what their daily charts look like. So before they hit scanners, before other people tell me about them, I have an understanding idea of which ones are set up best for future success. Maybe that comes down to the filings and to the share structure, to the float, to the resistance overhead, what they've been doing when no one's been watching. Have they been fading, or have they been going sideways, uptrending, whatever it is. It's never just going to be go buy everything because news came out. It's still treating everything the same way that I would, waiting for the type of daily charts that I always am trying to be patient for. All right, last question. We'll get on out of here. Thoughts on VLCN? Well, we got to zoom in here.
It was a penny gapper last week.
I don't know what I'm looking at.
Unless it did something. I mean,
yeah. So that was kind of a gap and crap. On is my chart correct? Like it's down 1.5% today.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Yeah, I don't know what the play is here. Looking for stocks that are in play, near resistance levels, running big. That's kind of not at all what's going on here. All I have is a gapper in the 15 to 20 cent range, which is already not an area that I'm spending a lot of time, never really shorting, not really longing. And it faded from 17 down to 10 and is red on the day to day. So it's not like this is in play. Not like a lot of people are watching this. When I zoom in, even if you timed all these prices by 10 and it became a more enticing price range, you still have massive resistance at 21 cents from the previous gap and crap just a few weeks ago. Then you have one from Friday as well. So you have all this built-in resistance on a stock that's already been beaten down for weeks and months. And you have a huge gap to fill. Is really the odds are stacked against this one, and not one that would be anywhere near my screen at going into the open, just because I don't expect much from it. And if anything, even if times the prices by 10, I'd be more interested in a short if it did spike into the previous day's resistance. So these are just not really something that we'd be interested in, whether it's a long or short bias, just because the daily chart's not set up in the right way and just massive resistance everywhere overhead. All right, we're going to wrap it up there. Head on over to the Clover room. Like I said, if you want access to that 7 days for $7, we'll always have that running. You can get over in the room where we're going to go talk through plans that we are looking at to trade, stuff from the watch list that we're going to look to trade this morning. What's top priority now that we've gone through the gappers and gone through the biggest movers in the morning, have a little bit of understanding on the momentum in the market today. Like I said, make sure to subscribe to, what is the word? Is it subscribe? Make sure you're subscribed to Clover Trading YouTube if you guys want to for us to raffle off a free bootcamp ticket first weekend in March. Make sure to get your tickets, clovertrading.io, while we still have early bird prices. Tomorrow is Wednesday. We had the market was closed on Monday. So tomorrow we're going to try something new for you guys. Instead of it being like watch list Wednesday, it will be live trading. So tomorrow won't start at 8:45 a.m. We're going to start at 9:15. Do a quick pre-market prep, go through what we're watching. Kyle's going to run it, and you'll be able to see a screen, and we'll be doing a live trading session for the first, I don't know what it is, 15, 30, 40 minutes. We'll have to talk, but we will be live at 9:15. We'll be open, ready to go for the market open, and then let you guys in on what we're doing at the open as well. So you don't want to miss that. Make sure notification bell is turned on so you don't miss that. We're going to try it out this Wednesday, tomorrow, 17th, see how it goes. So we'll see you guys all there tomorrow, and we'll see everyone else in the Clover room. Have a wonderful Tuesday, a great start to your week. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you first